Former Chelsea manager and present coach of Roma of Italy, Serie A, has come out to explain why he turned Nigerian midfielder, former Super Eagles captain John Mikel Obi, into a defensive midfielder when he signed him some years ago. One big debate that has raged in football and continues till now is whether John Mikel Obi would have been more suited as an attacking midfielder, as many feel he would have, or whether Jose Mourinho got it right by playing Mikel Obi predominantly as a defensive midfielder. And so the debate continues to rage, but Jose Mourinho, the man in charge of making the decision as to where Mikel Obi should play while he was manager at Chelsea, has come out to now defend his decision to play Mikel as a defensive midfielder. Speaking in Mikel Obi's fast-growing podcast, very widely followed podcast now called Obi-Wan Podcast, Jose Mourinho recently made a distinction between creativity in football and simplicity. He put Mikel Obi under the category of those players who are able to keep it simple, who are specialists in simplicity. And he said that Mourinho said that people usually confuse simplicity and creativity in football. By creativity, he surely meant players who could make those crazy, beautiful passes, those very nice creative moves, players who could wow you by their creative brilliance, players who could play those fantastic final passes, players who could dribble in tight spaces, dribble in tight places, create spaces for others by their dazzling dribbling abilities. But Mikel Obi, according to Mourinho, Mikel Obi belonged to those players who are specialists in simplicity, who have that ability to keep it simple, who have the ability to play the quick one-touch passes, who can bring the ball out from the defense to play those quick one-touch passes. And he said that it is those characters, the excellence in simplicity that made him play Mikel Obi as a defensive midfielder. Mourinho said that if you look at most of my defensive midfielders, except Claude Makalele, while I was manager at Chelsea, if you look at most of my defensive midfielders, you'll find that they have some certain similar characteristics. They're usually tall and usually physically strong. Mikel Obi surely belonged to that group of tall and physically strong players, and added to, according to Mourinho, added to his ability to keep it simple, to play very intelligent one-touch passes, to be the ball, to help his team to generate attacking moves by doing those simple jobs, by sacrificing himself for the good of the team, by keeping it simple, getting the ball nice and with accuracy to his teammates to help Chelsea's attacking build-up, and also his ability, his strength to break up play from opponents made Mourinho turn him into a defensive midfielder at Chelsea. And so that was Mourinho explaining to the world for the first time, explaining quite concisely why he turned Mikel Obi into a defensive midfielder. And so for Mourinho, Mikel Obi is not the most creative player. He's not the most creative in terms of in the mold of the likes of Martin Odegaard, for example, or Mesut Ozil or Kevin De Bruyne, those players who are very good in the final third, who can make those creative, those beautiful dribbling runs, those players who can make those passes, those final passes that will wow you. That in Mourinho's mind, from what is gleaned from his Mikel One podcast, in Mourinho's mind, Mikel Obi did not fall under that category of player. He was a player with a very good intelligence, a player with the simplicity of thought, and who specialized in the good technique of picking the ball from the back and then keeping it simple and bringing his teammates into play with the simplest of passes. And sometimes some players can be very excellent creatively. They can be excellent creative players who could make a very big impact in the final third of the pitch, but they may not be strong enough, or they may not have the simplicity of play to operate in deeper areas. But some others may not be very creative, like John Mikel Obi, may not be the most creative in terms of their dribbling abilities, or their abilities to play telling final passes, but have the ability to bring the ball, fetch the ball from the defense, have the intelligence, the quickness of thought to play it simple. And so, according to Jose Mourinho, John Mikel Obi is that kind of player who kept it simple, and that was why he made him play as a defensive midfielder. Reporting for News Express Nigeria Television Sports, I am Nelson Dafe.